Hey guys, this is Ray and Tracker, and I wanted to clarify some things. I've often said that it's been easy to maintain my course, and I want to add in a few things. I've said that taking the vegan challenge has been one of the easiest decisions of my life, and I say that, and I mean it. The outcome has been 100% positive and rewarding, and at the same time, like I mentioned frequently, the hardest thing is the third day. The third day of maybe because I was disconnecting from eating meat regularly. I had a reaction. 3 days later, I had this severe headache, and I had to use. I don't know that I had to, but I broke down and I used some Tylenol or something like that to alleviate the pain, and and then I moved forward. I had all these characteristics that I talked about. It was harder to get sore after working out or walking extended distances. My mind was more clear. I was more focused. There are all these benefits. But I've got to tell you, the hardest thing about this is having lost most of my friends and family along the way who think that I'm now so different that it's difficult to want to talk with me because, anything that we talk about is going to turn into the direction of this food issue. We have to eat meat, we have to hunt, and it becomes a backlash where people really want to actively pick at me during these times, and I say that, and I don't mean it lightly. I mean it really happens. Yesterday, I got yelled at on the phone for something that I didn't do wrong. Someone asked me for some information, and I sent it to them, and it was just for that segment of information they asked for, but they duplicated their work and added that information back again, thinking it was brand new information, even though in the email I said this is only for the questions that you asked about. These are only the dates that you were missing on the values that you already have. Well, they called me yelling that I had sent them information 2 times and that everything was duplicated. And so I said, no, it's no big deal. I think I know what happened, and I tried to clarify it, but this person continued to kind of berate me. And then after disconnecting the phone call, they went so far as to send me an email saying they could send all of the information back to me so that I could find someone else to take care of the work that I was paying them for. So again, the hardest thing is actually the backlash that you start to feel from people who aren't as happy for you as you are for yourself. And I recognize that because I too used to be that same person. And so to talk about these things and try to bring them to people's attention, it's almost like if I suggest taking away your precious, you turn into Gollum, And I say that because, again, I'm talking about myself. When things are threatened to be taken away from me, like nature and wildlife, and I really care about them, and people want to take that away from me, then I'm going to turn into something else. But I don't lash out in a destructive way. I try to build a connection, even with that voice that all of us have, even with that strong voice that can tell us bad things. And some of you are listening thinking, yeah, I knew it. This guy's crazy. He's got split personality. Well, we all do. And that's why we can all tell terrible jokes in mixed company or whereas in polite company, we limit those jokes. Why is that? It's because sometimes we're lighthearted and we can joke about things, and sometimes we're serious. And in most waking hours, it turns out that many more of us are more and more serious. And I've found that there's a serious correlation between the things we're eating and this serious attitude that we have, and also the things that we're watching. Because it's extremely difficult to, again, just hang out with people if they're not comfortable being pacified with all of the pastime things that for whatever reason, are the central focus of these get-togethers that we have anymore. It used to be when I was a kid, when we would get together with our relatives and be able to have talks with them about all the things we've learned together and all the things that we got to see and do. Now, of course, we know all of this because of Facebook. We know all of this stuff that we are doing because we keep a pulse check on everyone. This video is currently 5 minutes and some change, and I'm almost sure that most everyone's already ready to tune out. They're like, where's the punchline? The punchline is, every day I wish for a Baconator with cheese. Some of my favorite burgers were Wendy's burgers with the crispy cold lettuce and absolutely amazing tomato slices they always used to include. Have no idea if they still do that or if the produce is even still that fresh there. What I do know is that I do crave these things. There's that voice that's always there. But the more I've done different, the more I've eaten differently, the less I crave those things, because I know that that's just the convenience aspect of being able to go and get it real fast. Now, I've been very fortunate. My wife, Kim, she makes the most amazing food. And if we wanted hamburgers, she would prepare the most amazing hamburgers that would far exceed the expectations that I had, especially when I was comparing it to a Wendy's hamburger or a Whataburger or whatever our family gravitates towards first, almost on a regular basis, as if this buffet can last forever. Wildlife and nature is my primary focus. And as I tell you that our world is dying because of the choices that we're making on a daily basis, many of us just kind of laugh at me for saying, I've been healthier. I haven't gotten the flu shot or any of these things that I used to get to prevent me from getting sick. I just ate differently, and then I didn't get sick anymore. I also had higher energy and output, and I also noticed a lot higher assumed agitation in people. You know, I notice it, I tolerate it, I deal with it because I have to do business in this metropolis of a world that I live in right now. My escape is to get out into wildlife and nature, even temporarily. All of our escape is to do the same thing. All of us go out into wildlife and nature to disconnect. But it seems harder and harder for many of us to make that time to get out into wildlife and nature. We can hardly even get up the street or cross the city or whatever, to communicate. It's always on Facebook, and it's always on social media, I should say, not Facebook. Hate to endorse one social media stream over another. More often than not, we talk on social media in clips and snide comments that divide people and energy in ways that bring us down. And more often I tried to push back and make us think, hey, we can do it differently, because I can only return what I'm given. And if I'm watered with filth, I'm going to grow some nasty branches. My branches are strong though. And even as nasty as they were to begin with, I can turn into a beautiful tree with blossoms and everything. And that's what I'm trying to do. So as I go about talking about wildlife and nature and the rights of wildlife and the rights of nature, and I voice on their behalf the things that they cannot say, and as I point out the observations about things that are happening, I can only hope that some of us will also back me on the things that I'm seeing because they saw them with me when they were there. I can only hope that those people will back me in the way that I've asked, which is to help showcase that we can bring our health back into our own hands. Help showcase that there is this guy who's willing to take the fire. He just might need a little bit of a, man, you did something right. Encouragement or something. Because otherwise I recognize more and more where my community is and where my community isn't. And I can continue to be the one voice who's sharing this one bit of stuff here, but the drain is outweighing what I'm being filled with in terms of joy on social media. We have a lot of great lives and a lot of great opportunity to beautify these places that we're entrusted to as stewards. And we have a lot of great opportunity to smile with each other in the beauty of what we have all created together. But nature and wildlife is what I try to focus on. So if I'm stepping over the line and I'm making you mad, try to reintroduce yourself to my voice. And remember, I'm not talking to anyone in a condescending way. I've gone through these things. I am these things. I'm the same. I have the same struggles, the same thoughts. I have to overcome those same difficulties, and then a little bit more to have become what I've become. And in doing so, I've really noticed that, you either want to, it's like Tupac said, you either ride with me or you collide with me, And if you collide with me, well, I think I might have a stronger vehicle. I'm going to crash right through whatever if it's told in dishonesty. Because truth easily trumps dishonesty over and over. If I ask a simple question and get answers that aren't even really relevant to the question because they were outraged, the people that were prompted to respond, then there's a characteristic that I'm trying to point out. And that characteristic is many of our men and women are feeling with outrage first and not with an open mind and awareness. And when I say that we can eat differently and change our energy and focus on things without being distracted and outraged and upset and all that, we can. It doesn't take away sadness because I'm still compassionate. I care about everyone, even the crazy people. I'm a crazy person. Do you care about me? If you're watching this, you probably do. If you're not watching this, well, that might be the answer too. But the first step is you got to care about yourself. And to care about myself, I had to change the energy that I was feeding myself. And then I stopped having discontent and stopped wanting more to fill the void. I wanted less. I still want less. What I have right now, it's amazing. What I really want is a tiny place in the middle of the woods where I can watch nature thrive. Maybe I even tend to that land. Maybe somehow I bring people to those areas. Maybe it's a bigger house and I bring people there regularly so they can disconnect in the way that I'm able to show you that you can disconnect as well. And maybe I bring people's health to a whole other level that they thought that they'd never be able to escape that plateau of. But I can't do that without you. And if you're angry at me for saying what I'm saying, or if you're ignoring me, then I might not be a part of your community, and so obviously I need to pick up and go. If this knowledge that I'm sharing is insightful, share it. If you've done something that has helped you, share it. This is the safe platform. I will back you up. If anyone attacks you, and I have friends who can attest to this in the past, I will remove the problem source from my feed. Not in real life. We haven't got to that point yet. But it seems like, as angry as most of the world is, it seems like we're at that point where it seems like if someone were to say it, to just say it, that the purge has been enacted, people might just go out and start going crazy. I get a lot of confirmation when I say things. And as you noticed, the lighting changed on me. That wasn't something I timed. Maybe it's something that's true. So if you too believe that people have been more angry and more disappointed, and more upset and more forgetful and more lacking energy and maybe more greedy, more mean than normal, well, remember, it takes one to know one. We're all that person. And so to recognize that means that maybe we want to change something. The first place that my energy changed was when I changed what I was eating. And then I began to see a whole other set of possibilities, a whole other way to live. If this is prompting you to want to call out and yell at me, go ahead. I can take it. I hope that some of my friends will back me up on this and say, man, I've heard some of those stories and I was there when some of these things happened. I believe him. But until I have someone backing me up against the bullying, I will still stand on your behalf, even on the behalf of the bullies, because all of us need someone who cares about them. I care about you. I hope you care about yourself. And if for whatever reason you need some kind of help, reach out. Hope you have a great day.